Hi there, how are you doing?
Did you know that there is a New Zealand scrumptious miracle cure for almost everything? Hey, we are curious what products you associate with New Zealand.
Well, probably kiwi fruit, not only green, but golden and now even red one.
Some of you probably also noticed that large green apples called Granny Smith also often come from New Zealand.
And New Zealand and wine lovers will definitely know New Zealand wines.
And probably the whole world knows kiwi shoe polish. However, I will disappoint you. The name is slightly deceiving because first it is now an American product and it has never been New Zealand one. It owes its name to Kiwi wife of one guy in Australia who started to produce it over 100 years ago. Horrible was is they always try to steal something from us.
And you probably also know very high quality New Zealand lamb and beef.
And a lot of people correctly associate New Zealand with amazing landscapes of the cinema version of Tolkien's Lord of the Rings series. Unfortunately, the new Netflix series, these landscapes are now a cheap computer animation.
And anything else?
Well, probably not so much, but there is, however, another recent hit that many followers of natural medicine and healthy diets know well. We're talking about Manuka honey, the incredibly expensive latest cure-all. New Zealanders did an excellent job with Manuka honey brand development, and thanks to the hype that it is a universal panacea for many difficult to treat ailments, it is now probably the most expensive honey in the world. Never mind that any honey has antibacterial and healing properties. Manuka honey is the best and that's it. People are prepared to pay exorbitant sums of money for a jar of such honey. They sip a little and instantly feel much better. Well, at such a price, of course they should feel much better.
So what actually is the Manuka honey? By the way, please pay attention to the right accent. Not Manuka, but Manuka.
That's how it is pronounced. So it is a honey which our busy bees collect from flowers of a shrub called by Maori Manuka, and which is a relatively popular bushy plant here in New Zealand, as well, unfortunately, as in some areas in Australia. When you come to visit New Zealand, you certainly see Manuka growing in many places. This is a very typical element of the landscape here. However, a similar bush called kanuka is also very popular. It is very easy to confuse them. Although at first glance they look very similar, they are two completely different plant species. And kanuka honey can't be compared with Manuka honey. So, New Zealand beekeepers do what they can to persuade their bees not to collect nectar from any other flowers than Manuka. They organize morning training sessions for them, introduce reward systems, try to indoctrinate them ideologically, even organize special awards for high achievers. If bees are well disciplined, more of their honey can be called Manuka honey.
And how it is evaluated? Well, this is a major battlefield between New Zealand and Australian producers.
So Kiwis came up with a certification system called UMF, or Unique Manuka Factor. Each barrel of honey from a given manufacturer is tested in the lab for the presence of 4 chemical compounds. Depending on how many of them are there, a given barrel receives a certificate on a scale from UMF 5+ to UMF 25+. And only then honey is poured into jars with appropriate stickers. Of course, the competition has already produced different ways of certification and evaluation, but the UMF system is considered the only one that guarantees the correct quality. In addition, Australians are trying to sell their honey under the same name, Manuka, and yet in their country these bushes are called tea tree. Bloody awful! It's like calling an Italian spumante or German sect the champagne. Horrible!
But let's go back to the wonderful properties of Manuka honey.
Yeah, as all other honeys, it has antibacterial, antiviral, anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. However, there is one special compound in Manuka honey which is called methyloglexol, MGO in short. And it seems that this is the main point of difference which makes Manuka honey stand out among other honeys. There are indeed reports of successful Manuka honey treatment in cases where all other known antibiotics have failed. For most people, however, it is a cure-all and they use it internally and externally for almost everything. Apparently it is good for acne and colds, heals wounds and burns, sorts of indigestion and constipation. It's supposed to be good for your teeth and stress. I only don't know how good it is for men's vitality and hair growth, but it probably also helps here and there.
For me, however, the most important thing is that it has very unique taste, which I love. But unfortunately, because of the whole healing hype, it has become very expensive.
Therefore, we decided to plant as many Manuka plants as possible on our property, so that in a few years we can put our own hive here and have our own Manuka honey. As we need hundreds of them, we make seedlings ourselves. First, we collect last year's seed pods. After a few days of drying, these pods open and release out hundreds of tiny red seeds. These seeds are sown in germination trays and voila! After a few weeks, we have a thick green fleece of tiny Manuka plants. Now they need to be gently extricated and individually planted into larger containers. And in a few months, when they are about 70 centimeters tall or say 2 feet tall in autumn, we will plant them out next to those we planted last year. Well, in a few years we invite you to come and taste our Manuka honey, which admittedly will probably not have a UMF certificate, but it will be cheap, plentiful and our own. It is great to be a pensioner in New Zealand. If you liked what you've seen, do not forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up and turn on the notification bell.
And see you all in the next one.
Cheers!